Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing today? That's good, that's good. My name is Shashir. I am the Kickoff coordinator here at Georgia Tech for RoboJackets. And I just wanted to start off by saying to everyone, thank you so much for coming. Welcome to Georgia Tech. This is RoboJackets' 15th year hosting this event, and it gets better every year. So I just want to say thank you all so much. For showing up, for being loud, for having incredible attendance for the workshops that we had this morning, and for everything that you all are doing. So we will be moving into local ceremonies. We will be moving into local ceremonies shortly, and following that, we are going to be having the kickoff broadcast straight from Ferst. That will happen at around 12. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Ms. Connie Haynes.
Thank you, and good morning, FIRST teams. Excited to see you back. Before I start to speak, I have something really fun for you to do, for you to participate in. Our amazing sponsor, Automation Direct, came through for us again this year, and they've got some things to give away to you. So before I speak, I'm going to welcome our Automation Direct rep, Mr. Chip McDaniel, out onto the stage. Yeah. And he's got some goodies to give away. So don't have to be present. If you are watching us in Albany or you're watching us over in South Carolina, you also have a chance to win quite a few really cool things. This is just door prize number 1 drawing. It's going to happen throughout the entire presentation local. So we've got a random generator here. All of your numbers have been assigned to all the numbers have been assigned to your teams. So let's see who's going to win the first one.
There we go. So we've got 2,000 zip ties times 4 drawings. Hey Google, generate a random number between 1 and 96. All right, Kyle, tell us who Team 87 is.
All right, Chip. For Team 87, we have Team 7538 Middle Mountain from Lawrenceville, Georgia, sponsored by Motorola, Lockheed Martin, NCR, Nordson, and Gene Haas, one of the sponsors for this year's game, and from Mountain View High School.
Hey Google, generate a random number between 1 and 96. 22.
All right. For our 22nd team, that would be Team 2415 Wired Cats from right here in Atlanta, Georgia, sponsored by Novellus, Jim and Marilyn Black Family, UL Green Guard, and the Westminster School.
And it looks like we'll be shipping that one to them. Hey Google, generate a random number between 1 and 96. Ooh. Team is 87.
You know, I just said that team. That would be Team 7538 Metal Mountain from Lawrenceville, Georgia, sponsored by Lockheed Martin, Motorola, NCR, Nordson, Gene Haas Foundation, Gwinnett County Public Schools, and Mountain View High School.
Thank you.
Redraw? All right.
I was going to honor the duplication because I forgot to tell everybody that we were going to disallow duplicates, so thank you very much for the stand-up decision there. Okay, a redraw.
All right.
Hey Google, generate a random number between 1 and 96. 31.
All right. For our 31st team, that would be Team 3815, the North Forsyth Raiders from Cumming, Georgia, sponsored by Automation Direct and North Forsyth High School.
I might not have to ship that one. They're right around the corner.
Oh, they're here.
Oh, they are here. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see anybody moving. And while we were doing that.
All right. So it looks like we have our last number, which is number 27. That would be Team 3344, the Space Dragons from Fayetteville, Georgia, sponsored by Caterpillar Inc., Measure Construction, and Whitewater High School.
Ask if they're here.
Are you guys here, Team 3344? I do not see them.
We'll ship that one.
All right, perfect. All right. Is that our last one for now?
For now, but there'll be more drawings in a little bit.
All right.
Thank you again to Automation Direct for always coming through for our teams. And like you said, there'll be 2 more drawings throughout this presentation, so you're going to want to stay tuned. Okay, who's ready for Charged Up? I know you are. So are we in the Peachtree District. So in the Peachtree District this year, as you probably know, if you don't, you may have been under a rock for a while, but we have included now our South Carolina teams, and we're going to do a shout out to them in just a moment. But for this season, for the Peachtree District, we're going to have 66 teams coming from Georgia. 4 of those are rookies. If you're a rookie, stand so we can give you a huge applause. If you're a rookie out there, I see some. Welcome to the Ferst family. And out of South Carolina this year, we're going to welcome 28 teams, one of those being a rookie as well. So let's go ahead and give that rookie that's not here but in South Carolina an applause. Absolutely. So, doing the math, 94 teams will be playing in the Peachtree District this year. That's a lot of teams. 7 qualifier events, 1 district championship. We're excited to welcome you to all of those events this year, every team. So, I'm just going to do a few welcomes and thank yous before we go a little further. First big welcome, and we'll hold our applause till the end because there's a lot of welcomes on here. The Georgia Tech RoboJackets, they plan and execute this event for you, and they do an amazing job. So we're going to thank them in just a moment. Our sponsors, the sponsors that allow us to be here and at all events that we'll have, and they sponsor you as well as teams. Our GeorgiaFIRST and the First and South Carolina Board of Directors, they're the people that put in the time to make sure your year is planned out and funded as best it can be. The leadership teams from both states as well, they put a lot of hours into making sure your events are first-class events when you get there. Our local planning committees, shout out to all of them in Dalton and Albany, Anderson, in South Carolina this year, and lots more. They're putting a lot of hours into making sure those events are everything it can be when you get there as well. Our volunteers, I'm going to stop here because if you're a volunteer in this room, we're going to thank you individually before we go on. So volunteers, let's give them a hand. Again, countless hours to make your events the best they can be. Our mentors, teachers, and coaches couldn't do it without you. And our parents who make sure your kids get to participate. Let's give all of them a huge round of applause. So here's our shout out to our other 2 local kickoffs, one here in Georgia at the FRC Academy in Albany. Let's give them a shout out. They're watching us. As well as our Fort Dorchester High School event over in North Charleston, South Carolina. Welcome. So we have an amazing group that represents you at the state level here in Georgia, and they're our CTSO officers, the Career Technical Student Organization. They're here with us, and they have some pretty cool things they've been doing this past year that they want to let you know about and let you maybe even get involved with some of those things. So let's hear from our CTSO officers are in the audience or back here. Let me see if they're out there. I don't see them. We're going to come back to them. Let's advance that a little bit. Oh, I don't want you to see that until they get out here. Okay, so we're going to skip ahead to our qualifier events. So our qualifier events, you should know where these are already because you have registered for them. And there's a little capacity room, a little wiggle room if you're looking for a third event, that if you want to let us know about that, it's not too late. But remember, if you're going to do a third event in the Peachtree District, your first two that you play in are the two that count for your quality points. So keep that in mind. If you do your first two and say we want to do this one more time, let us know. We do have a little wiggle room in some of the events. And then, of course, our championship event this year, we're moving that. It's not going to be down in Macon at Mercer this year, although we're going to try to get back there very soon. But this year, we're going to be up in Emerson, Georgia, at Lake Point Sports Complex. And some of you have been there before. It's a big, huge building that has plenty of room for us. And then, of course, our first championships in Houston, where we'll be sending 17 teams from the Peachtree District. I'll talk about this. I'm going to mention it here. We may talk about this later in my presentation as well, but just to make sure you understand that the championship this year will be invitations to 50 teams to the district championship. In the past, we've done 45, we've done 32, depending on the team count, but with 90-plus teams playing in the Peachtree this year, we have upped the count that will go on to our district champs to 50. So you got a pretty good chance of making it to that event this year. Our district event schedules, if you've been in Georgia for a while, you know the schedule. If you're a rookie, this will be new to you, and if you're a South Carolina team, this is also new to you. It's a little bit different, still 3 days, but not full 3 days. It is 2.5, basically. But all this presentation will be loaded up on our website, so you don't have to worry too much about memorizing this or even taking pictures of it. We'll make sure you get a chance to look at it. Now, this is something that's only for Georgia. Sorry, South Carolina, you may have already been there before us. I think that you did start in FRC before us, but 2023 will be the anniversary for First Robotics competition in the state of Georgia. So let's give ourselves a hand for that. And you're seeing for the first time the reveal of the new anniversary logo that you're going to see throughout the season. We're going to have a lot of merchandise with this logo on it, a lot of things we're going to make sure that we're getting to the teams with this logo. And I want to give some cred shout out to one of our first alumni, Miss Sophia Johnson, that you'll see here on the stage in just a few minutes, for the creation of this incredible logo. So let's give Sophie a hand. So again, we're going to be celebrating 20 years of First Robotics in Georgia, the entire season for 2023. So stay tuned, it's going to be fun. So I want to make sure I give you a special invitation to our next Mentor Advisory Council meeting, and this one's a little different than what we typically do. Mentor Advisory Council is just that, for your mentors, coaches, and teachers. But this one we're going to open up to students. So on January 19th, it's a Thursday night, 7 o'clock, it's a Zoom call. So you should be able to join us. You don't have to worry about driving to get to it. But you're going to hear from our Georgia First Robotics head referee, Miss Jan Sperling, and she's going to be breaking down the rules for the 2023 Charged Up game. Normally, we would be doing this as a workshop after this presentation, after getting your kits on kickoff day. But since we did our workshops in the morning, this was not possible because Jan has not seen the game yet. But she will be ready for your questions and ready to help you best prepare for the Charged Up game. Again, January 19th, and students are invited to join that call. So what are you going to get today? This is the cool stuff. You're going to be getting your kickoff kits, kit totes. If you are a rookie, you're going to be getting 2 totes. If you're a veteran, 1 tote. You're going to be also, as kickoff is starting for the season, remember you have your first choice and you have virtual kit. Now, some of you sitting there new to the game may be saying, what are we talking about there? In just a moment, I'm going to pull up the slide that shows your contacts for all FRC questions in South Carolina and Georgia. They're your people to ask, and they can help walk you through what is first choice. It's really good. It's a lot of cool credits to your team, as well as virtual kit that you can download. And then also the most important thing on this is submit your replacement parts request by noon on Friday, January 13th. That's very important that you go to your build site after today and inventory your kit. Make sure everything that's supposed to be in there is in there, and everything that's in there is in good working order. And if it's not, you will submit that order through your dashboard. It's a little different now than you have before, but through your dashboard as the coach or mentor of the team, you'll let them know what replacement parts you need by the 13th. So what are you going to prepare for? Oh no, if you've been here for multiple years, you've seen that in bullet point number 1, I've always put bad weather. Always prepare for bad weather. You live in Georgia. South Carolina, I think you probably should be preparing as well. And when I mean bad weather, things that would keep you from getting to your build site. So if you know, the forecasters are pretty accurate. If you know there's a system coming in that could cause you not to be able to access your build site, you might want to know what your tasks are going to be to not lose precious build time. So prepare for bad weather, prepare for those additional registration fees if you're going to the district championship. Remember, 50 of you will get invitations this year. Also, additional registration fees for the World Champs in Houston. So make sure your fundraising is robust and prepared for those things so you don't come up empty-handed when needed. Also know the deadlines for the award submissions. I put a challenge out last year that I would like to see those Dean's List judges not even be able to leave their room in the interview rooms because every one of you have submitted your Dean's List nominees. Make sure you're looking at those Dean's List, I'm not just Dean's List, but those award deadlines, and you're getting submissions in on time. And your travel arrangements. Know where you're going, how you're going to feed people, and where you're going to stay. Also, open days at the DE sites. Now, the website right now, sad. It is sad. We're still working on the GeorgiaFIRST website and working to update hours and contact information for the DE sites. All of those are going to be open this season. They'll be in Columbus, downtown Atlanta, Marietta, and in Albany. We may have another one coming on in Gwinnett that will be open to everyone, but we're still seeing if there's any restrictions on that. We know it's going to be for the Gwinnett teams, but we're not sure about access for all. But maybe Mike Riley's out here somewhere. so that will be added to our sites very soon. Then also know that you are concentrating on building a robust, sturdy, reliable robot. Consent release forms. I know that this has been a headache, and it continues to be an even bigger headache. But we know you've got to do a Peachtree District consent release form as well as a Ferst consent release form. Our tip is do them online. Do them online so that when you print off your team roster to come to your event, it's check marks are everywhere. Miss Beth down here on the second row will thank you, and she's going to wave and thank you for doing that. So make sure you're trying to do those online as much as possible. And then make sure your sponsors know who you are, what you're doing. You're keeping regular updates to your sponsors. Now, if you need help, this is a slide you're going to want. Remember, I'm going to post this so you don't have to take a picture, but you can if you want. Where do I get answers to questions about build, about game, about the event, anything, how am I going to pass inspection, any of those questions? Miss Lisa Hatch is your all-knowing in Georgia, and Mr. Chris Cortez in South Carolina. So make sure you're reaching out to these people. Don't let yourself get so far in a hole that we have to bring in big shovels to get you out. So no wrong questions, no crazy questions. Make sure you're asking them. They're all good questions. Now I'm going to bring out a couple of people to our stage that you may have saw them while you were checking in today, but we have the return of that robot life. So if you're going to be looking for some good merchandise, remember we're celebrating the 20th anniversary, so there's going to be some things that are related to that. But if you're looking for some good merchandise this year, you've got a fresh new perspective on that robot life. So just telling you that as a hint to make sure you bring, a couple of bucks when you come to an event if you want a memento. But right now, they're going to make sure some people get a sampling of their new shirts for this season. So that robot life, take it away. Ah, pretty good. Go, Kyle. Backwards. Oh. Redo on that, redo. Let's go, Kyle. You got it. Woo! Okay. Thank you to that Robot Life. And if you're interested in helping out that Robot Life during the season, they do have some internship positions that they're looking for a few good people to learn what the merchandising industry is about. So there is a QR code on here that you can scan, or it will also be up on all their social media sites. So take advantage of it. They're a pretty cool group to work with. So if you're looking for something to do at the events, if you're not driving a robot, you might want to work with them. So, we want to wish you the best of luck in this 2023 season. That's from the Board of Directors. If there's any Board of Directors members here, let's give them a hand. From our state leadership committees, our local planning committees, our sponsors and partners, and me, your CEO. So best of luck for the season. Thank you. And again, a big special shout out to our RoboJackets for an amazing kickoff once again. And now, door prize drawing number 2.
All right, so Mr. Chip is coming out with our next door prize. I believe it is a cutting kit, correct? A cutting kit?
Cutting tools, stripping and ferrule tools, yes.
Ooh. All right. So we have a couple of these up for grabs. Let's see what numbers we have. As he's going through the numbers, we have a crimping tool, we have a stripping tool, and then we have an assortment of ferrules as well. And that's over $300 in value?
That's right.
All right.
Hey, Google, generate a random number between 1 and 96. Number is 28. Kyle's going to do the lookup.
That would be Team 3489, Category 5 from Summerville, South Carolina, sponsored by the Boeing Company, Dorset District 2, Young Scientists of South Carolina, Robert Bosch, and Ferst, South Carolina.
And we're going to assume they're not here today?
Yes. Unless you are here.
We will ship it.
All right. Next one.
Hey, Google, generate a random number between 1 and 96. The number is 84.
Team 84 would be, I believe they were our Chairman's Award winners this last year, if I remember correctly. That would be Team 7451 Avenger Robotics from Cumming, Georgia, sponsored by Automation Direct, Forsyth County Schools, Swage Lock, Carroll, Daniel Construction, HC Robotics, Hewlett Packard, and the Alliance Academy for Innovation.
We will ship that one as well.
All right, perfect. All right, thank you guys.
And we found our CTSO officers. Yay! Come on up, guys. Okay, and whoever's going to speak first can hang here. We're going to tee up their slides, and we're going to let them give you their update. So take it away.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, we didn't hear our cue, but we're here. So, hello everyone, I am Andre Grossberg, and I'm your current GeorgiaFIRST State Robotics President, and we're super excited to be here today to kind of tell about who we are and what we've been doing for the past year. So, to begin, we're just going to start with our introductions. Again, I'm Andre, your GeorgiaFIRST Robotics President, and I'm part of G3 Robotics.
I'm Sanjay Gupta, and I'm the CTSO Vice President of Communications.
Hi, my name is Anish Sankarathri. I'm the CTSO Vice President of Project Management, and I'm from Team 2974, Walton Robotics.
Hi, I'm Sophia Caiello, and I'm a part of Team 4516 Hyperion, and I'm your Vice President of Outreach.
So, we loved seeing all of you guys at Grits, at Peachtree Live, and we loved all of the responses to our show. And we're really excited to announce that we're going to be bringing Peachtree Live to our Peachtree District Championships. So if you guys have any ideas or feedback, please feel free to let us know.
Moving on, we've had another amazing announcement. We've had the amazing opportunity to work with TED this year, and we are hosting a TED Talk on February 26th at Atlanta International High School. And the topic is using STEM education to develop the next generation of impact makers in a rapidly changing environment. So if you're interested, please let us know because space is limited in this event.
And right now I'm just going to talk a little bit about our Special Needs Accommodation Initiative. So if you were at GRITS, you might have seen the Accessibility Award, which was supposed to highlight a team that did a great job in including students with special needs on their team in GeorgiaFIRST Robotics. So along with the award that we created, we have been doing research on FIRST and the resources they provide and the different, highlighting different solutions that we may find that may be better, but also finding gaps in resources. So we've been working with Dr. Kanya Greer and Dr. Karen Fisher from Georgia Southern University on the research that we've been doing. And we applied to speak at two national research conferences, the NSTA, National Science Teaching Association Conference, as well as the National Youth Advocacy and Resilience Conference to talk about our findings, talk about GeorgiaFIRST Robotics and how great it is a place to get into that STEM world and learn real-world skills, as well as highlight different accommodation strategies for both GeorgiaFIRST Robotics and getting into STEM extracurriculars. So there's just some cool things that we've been working on to help make GeorgiaFIRST Robotics a more inclusive place.
As a CTSO, we also work with the Department of Education, and we also attend student leadership camps. Please follow us on our social medias, and let us know if you have any questions or ideas. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Right, and as we were saying, if you're interested in seeing kind of the projects that we're going to be doing, we're really focusing on this year on seeing the different impacts that we can make on GeorgiaFIRST. We've been doing a lot of projects. We've been super excited, whether that be doing Peachtree Live or we just got to do this really cool event called the Creator Zone, where Meta came in and created this zone for students to work with VR headsets and have a gaming station. It was pretty cool. And we got to meet Mayor Andre Dickens, and we're doing a lot of fun stuff. So if that sounds something interesting and that you may want to follow us, please follow us, and maybe even how you may become a Georgia State officer yourself. Thank you.
So our next speaker is very near and dear to us. This event can't happen without the help and the extensive support that the Institute of Intelligent Robotics and Machines, IRIM of Georgia Tech, does for us. So our next speaker is a professor with IRIM, Dr. Siotris. Welcome. Welcome.
All right, all right. Are you ready to build some robots? Yeah, all right. Excellent. All right, so let me welcome you to Georgia Tech, to this great campus, this sunny but a bit cold day, and all of you who are attending remotely. My name is Panayotis Tsiotras. I'm an associate professor, I'm associate director of the Institute of Robotics and Intelligent Machines. And I'm also a professor in aerospace engineering. That means that I'm wearing two hats. And when people ask me what you do for a living, basically, I do flying robots. Well, how cool is that? I think I have the best job in the world. So I'm going to spend a few minutes discussing what we do here in robotics. I hope to persuade you that Georgia Tech is one of the best places to do robotics. And if you decide to do robotics as a professional, this is the place to be. Okay, as I said, I'm an associate director and also I'm a professor in aerospace engineering. So I combine two things, which is, I believe, at least for me, is the best thing I could hope for. Before I tell you about a little bit about Georgia Tech, I want to remind you what an exciting time is to do robotics these days. I think you can hardly spend a day without reading something in the news or listening something on the radio about robots, about autonomous driving vehicles, perhaps air taxis that will zoom through the cities, taking you from one place to the other, drones, many other things. A lot of people have already assistants, right? Roombas that clean your floor and many other things. I just want to tell you one thing: you haven't seen anything, nothing yet. There are a lot of things that are going on in the labs. You will see some of them later on today. In a couple of years, this will be revolutionize the way we live. And the question may one ask is, why now? What has happened in the past that has changed this landscape? Robots have been around since the 50s, right? And I would say that the main thing that's happened is AI, artificial intelligence, the algorithms that fuel, right, or run these machines based on machine learning ideas. A lot of nice, very competent vision processing algorithms. Even last year, or maybe a couple of years ago, machines surpassed humans in vision recognition. And of course, hardware that makes all this work in real time. So now, as I said, people, when they see robotics, they think something like this, all right? This is your, what I call robotics 1.0. That's your grandfather's robot. It's sitting in a factory floor doing something, right? In this case, is assembling a car, I believe, here. And the first thing you notice when you see something like this is that these huge cages, right, is protected. Nobody is allowed to go there because you may get hurt. This is the traditional robotics, right? Things that work and they do something repetitively over and over again. And this is robotics 2.0. Robotics 2.0 are not in cages anymore, but rather have entered our homes and offices and start to interact with humans. So the difference between the traditional robotics and robotics, what I call 2.0, is the level of autonomy that is needed for these machines to operate in unstructured environments and unpredictable environments and interact with humans. And that's a completely different problem. When you have humans around robots, you have to be very careful, okay? So while traditional robotics was built right on the three legs of the traditional stool, we see here what I call control, perception, and cognition. Okay, now we have two more elements. We have adaptation and we have learning. So these machines are able to learn and adapt to the environment. Okay, so now they can operate in unpredictable environments and again interact with humans. So we go from the notion of automation, which is, again, the traditional way of robots, doing things repetitively over and over again, to what I call autonomy, okay? Much more freedom to work, understand the environment, make secure and safe judgments about the environment and act on it. But building robots that are autonomous brings about new challenges. Challenges on how you design those, how you operate, and most importantly, how you certify those. How you make sure that will not do something that is not allowed. Okay? So these are some of the questions that we try to answer in the Robotics Institute. Oops, here it is. Okay. So which is basically an interdisciplinary institute. It's one of the 10 interdisciplinary institutes at Georgia Tech. Very soon we'll be celebrating the 10th year since its inception. It started as a center back in 2007. And it's a joint program between the College of Engineering, the College of Computing, and the Georgia Tech Research Institute, which is the applied research component of Georgia Tech. The first two are the educational component. This is a unique program because it combines all three disciplines, all three components. In addition to research, another thing that distinguishes the Robotics Institute at Georgia Tech with some of the other institutes around the country, it is also has an educational component. And by that I mean that we have welfare degrees in robotics. All right, so we have a PhD degree in robotics, and recently, a couple of years ago, we started the master's degree in robotics. By the way, we also have a PhD degree in machine learning as well. And again, I think that maybe we're the only major university in the country that has offered a PhD in all these areas at the same time. So when somebody asks me what is your goal and what is the vision of IRIM as an entity, what is the role, what does it role that it play within Georgia Tech and the greater scientific community, I would say that it has two goals. First of all, to define what the future of robotics, what robots should be in the future, and how we can build robots that will operate efficiently and reliably and safely, of course. And the second, which is the educational component, is how to produce the next generation of leaders in robotics. So there is a tremendous wealth of research and work done at Georgia Tech in the robotics. Here in the Robotics Institute, we kind of try to separate this in three major areas. I would not say this is cast in stone, but this gives you an idea a little bit about the type of problems and applications we're right now we're interested in. The autonomy area is people who work in the area. It's more theoretical. They try to develop the algorithms, and the robots that think and act themselves autonomously in complex environments and under great amounts of uncertainty. The second area, this is the human augmentation. You see a couple of examples later on where we develop the actuators, sensors, algorithms again, also intelligent machines that help humans with disabilities, right, to improve or not to improve their health and well-being. Think, for example, exoskeletons, medical robotics, and things of that nature. All right, workers that move heavy boxes, you can help them with exoskeletons, for example. And finally, the collaborative robotics, that's a different area. This is a little bit more traditional, I would say, when we find different ways of incorporating these robots in industrial environment and how to interact with humans. So the Institute has more than 100 faculty. This is a little bit dated, this slide. More than 100 faculty and more than 150 students who work in robotics-related work. Now, I would say that these 100 students are the ones that are involved in the robotics PhD program, but there are many other students in other departments who are doing PhD, let's say in aerospace engineering, mechanical engineering, and so on and so forth, who do work in robotics. So the actual number of students who do advanced degrees in robotics actually is higher. There are several labs, more than 60 labs in Georgia Tech, ranging from computer vision, social robotics, unmanned aerial and ground vehicles, manipulation, and so on and so forth, space robotics, which is one of my areas, and so on and so forth. So the objective of the program is to equip with students who come to campus with the fundamental theories that will allow them to build robots for impactful applications, ranging from aerospace, transportation, healthcare, manufacturing, and even entertainment, industry, and education. Okay, these areas include what one may imagine. One talks about robotics, mechanics, control, perception, human-robotic interaction, and of course, combining these in a complete and operating system. Here is a few applications, a few areas that people work here at Georgia Tech. This is too many. I don't expect you to read the whole slide, but it ranges from autonomous vehicles, right? Manipulation, as I mentioned, human augmentation. We'll see a couple of examples again. Medical robotics. We have a very large program in medical robotics. Includes robotic surgery, rehabilitation robotics. I would say this is perhaps even a part of the human augmentation theme, robotic vision, and so on and so forth. What I want to, the reason I have this slide up there is to persuade you that we kind of do everything because it's such a large department, such a large school, and I will urge you to find something we do not do in terms of robotics. I mean, if you decide I want to do this, I bet there will be some faculty member that will be doing things of that nature. Here is some of the research topics the various students are working on. When they arrive to campus, they have, again, they have the flexibility to choose to work on actuator design, how you build these robots. Typically, students, these are primarily students who are mechanical engineering, perhaps biomedical engineering, mechanism design. I'm more in the theoretical area. I'm in controls and planning. So I develop the algorithms or the computer code that goes into these machines. Trajectory optimization is one of my other areas. And there are a lot of other people who do planning, perception, right? Vision, understand the environment, realize what is what am I seeing here, right? And how does it fit with the whole environment? So it's not enough to just see, oh, this is a ball, right? When I'm driving, for example, on the street, you have to reason that if you see a ball riding on the street, there may be a child going after it, right? So there's a high level of thinking and inference to understand what is happening and what may happen in the future. And again, human-robot interactions is a very big area of research these days for the reason I just mentioned a few minutes ago, and of course, learning of every kind, okay? So I have a few slides to a few projects that you may see here. The ground robotics, this is part of actually my own lab in ground robotics. We built ground robots. Everybody seems to be building ground robots these days and autonomous vehicles, but here is a different problem. We're interested in high-speed robots, so racing robots. So this is a different level of fidelity, right? Building robots that or autonomous vehicles that they race, even against expert humans. We have more traditional home robots that they can do manipulation. They can like pick and place type of scenarios. I think this is a video from Sonia Chernova's group, and also industrial robotics, but again, similar scenarios about taking things from one place and put them in the other place completely autonomously, perhaps using some kind of vision sensors. And finally, I have a little video from some of the work, again, done in that department, when you have autonomous flying helicopters and fixed aircraft. In this case, I believe they're operating in collaboration with ground robots. Got the idea. Just want to mention these are completely autonomous vehicles, not remotely controlled. Okay, that's and one vehicle is following the other in this scenario, just using cameras. The other area I think already mentioned is the exoskeleton or human robotics, right? Human interaction, robots interacting with humans, where we are interested in the physical interaction. This brings a lot of problems that requires a mix of mechanisms, right? Control, actuation, sensing, how, when you touch, there is a compliance issue, and even inference, right? You want the human not to give explicit instructions to the robot, but by inference, by looking the motion or the way it behaves, the robot to understand what the human wants and help him or her the tasks. There is a large group in Georgia Tech working, at least 3 or 4 faculty who are working on scenarios like web-based assistance teleoperation. Here you will see a person who is paraplegic and the robot is helping to feed him, to have meal. And then the other scenario, there is people who are, have injuries, and they have disabilities, and we built machines that can actually help a mechanism that can help them walk. In this case, you can understand what the gait, does he want to walk, does he want to run, does he want to go up the stairs, and things of that nature. So let me play this a little bit. So imagine the impact of these machines, not only for disabled people, but also people that get older, they have limited mobility, and you name it. Also workers that work in environments that are difficult, lifting heavy machinery and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of work and a lot of cool ideas here, and hopefully within your lifetime you'll see much more advanced types of human augmentation robotics. Before closing, I want to mention that most people, when they think about robotics, they think about the 3Ds, right? The dangerous, dirty, and dull. I have to say that robots can do many more things. Robots these days are used in agriculture. Of course, it's dull and boring, right? But it's something that it is a very big area of applications, picking, in this case, some fruit. And then there are humans who do, faculty who do locomotion in environments that are not very, I would say, benign. So this is a locomotion, robot locomotion, similar to how a snake will move, for example, if you want to move on gravel or some kind of ground media. And one of the interesting things these days is swarm robotics. So you don't have one robot by itself, but you have many robots interacting and do something together. This is what is called swarm robotics. Here at Georgia Tech, we also have the Robotarium. Maybe you have heard about it, which is an environment where remotely everywhere in the world you can log in and you can download a code and you can make robots do something, typically go around, make thermal formation, and so on and so forth. We can also robots, lastly but not least, that they can help humans to enhance their artistic expressions. Jill Weinberg is a professor who is also a member of the Robotics Institute, but is also part of the School of Music, and has been focusing on developing artificial creativity and musical expression for robots and augmented humans. And these robots have performed along with humans around the country and around the world, playing, for example, jazz or different types of music with a human performer. All right, so let me give you a little bit a flavor of what robots can do.
There is only one place where great students and advanced technology strike just the right note.
All right, that's it. Thank you very much. Good luck with your robots.
Okay, before we make the big switch over, which is in 10 minutes, another drawing from Automation Direct.
All right, Chip. So what do we have here?
Cutting tools.
More cutting tools, $450 in value. Let's see who is going to get these wonderful prizes.
Hey Google, generate a random number between 1 and 96. Hey Google, generate a random number between 1 and 96. Hey Google, come on. Generate a random number between 1 and 96. Number 9.
Number 9, that would be Team 1287 Aluminum Assault from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, from Horry County Schools, Sandy Cooper. GM Construction, First Impressions Woodworking in the Academy of Arts, Science, and Technology.
We'll assume they aren't here. We will ship that one. $91.
91. Okay. That would be Team 8137 Biting Bulldogs from Georgetown, South Carolina, from the Georgetown School District, Fastenal, Safe Rec, AA Low Country LLC, and Georgetown High School.
Last one. 43.
43. So that would be Team. There we go. From right here in Atlanta, Georgia, it's Team 8577, Georgia Cyber Academy champions from the Georgia Cyber Academy.
Do they really need drill bits in cyberspace? I don't know.
No. But it'll definitely help.
We will ship it to them as well.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Hey guys, welcome to the Ferst Theater for the 2023 Kickoff. Are you guys excited for Charged Up? We're only a few minutes away from the kickoff reveal, but you get to hear from me first. My name is Zach Slayton. I'm the president of RoboJackets, Georgia Tech's largest competitive robotics organization. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what RoboJackets does, who we are and where you might see us, and then a little bit about what it means to be an FRC student. So first, what is RoboJackets? RoboJackets, like I just said, is Georgia Tech's competitive robotics team. We have over 300 members, and we're divided into 5 different teams that all compete in different types of competitions and build different robots. Like you saw in the video, they compete in a variety of different challenges. We have autonomous racing, autonomous soccer, autonomous sumo wrestling, autonomous off-road navigation, think Mars rover style, and combat robotics. Each team has their own set of challenges that they have to face, many of which are similar to what you're familiar with, but also a lot different. You know, we are a college program, so the challenges are harder, more complicated. But don't worry. We have an extensive training program so that everybody who joins RoboJackets has an opportunity to get their hands on the robot and really make an impact with their work. We believe RoboJackets is a really great supplementary part of any Georgia Tech student's education. So if any of you guys are coming to Georgia Tech, I'm sure some of you may have already gotten in. We are at a robotics event in Atlanta right now. Feel free to check us out, go to our website, and join if you're interested. There's no limitations, no application. Anybody's welcome to join. But, oh, of course, can't forget to talk about outreach. I know you guys all love outreach. Right here, we're in the First Theater, the aptly named First Theater, for the first kickoff. This is the 15th year we've done this kickoff. And it's our biggest event of the year, and we're always super excited to see everyone come down to the campus and get excited for this year's game. So you might see us at some of the events this year. I myself will be inspecting some events, so if you see me walking around the pits in a yellow hat, feel free to stop by and say hello. But enough about RoboJackets. Let's talk a little bit about First. A couple years ago, I was in the same seats that you guys are sitting in. I graduated from Team 4026 Global Dynamics. They're sitting right over there. In 2020, and I remember distinctly the night before kickoff being one of the most excited I was during the year. I was always so excited to think, oh, I can't wait to build this robot. You know, I really want to think what challenges are, what the game piece is going to be, all that. And obviously, that's super important. Technical skills are one of the biggest things you gain from First. You know, mechanical, learning how to use tools correctly, electrical, connecting components, software, writing good code. These are all very valuable skills that you guys are focusing on and learning a lot as part of your FRC career. But, as I'm sure you've heard a million times, FRC is more than robots. There's non-technical skills. This is stuff like leadership, confidence, teamwork, public speaking, and these are things that you might not even realize you're training, practicing, and using as a part of an FRC team. For example, consider you're in the pits and you see a judge walking up the aisle, and everyone gets a little nervous. You know, talking to the judge, it can be a bit scary. But a student steps up and they start explaining all the work they've done. They might be talking about their robot. They might be talking about all the outreach they've done. They might be talking about their team's business plan. It doesn't matter what it is. They've decided to put themselves out there and pitch themselves, the robot, and their team to the judges. And that's a skill that not everybody has. Being able to really put yourself out there and emphasize all the work you've done is very valuable. And I want everyone to sort of appreciate that that's important and extremely valuable to everyone who participates in FRC. Something to keep in mind, there's no such thing as an FRC robot without an FRC team. No robot was made by a single person. So during the season, remember to rely on your teammates and rely on your mentors in order to get your robot and advance your team. Feel free to remember to ask questions and hope that you encourage a culture of learning in your team, because that's really what FRC is all about. It might be about building robots, but it's really about learning and having a good time. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of unsolicited advice. Unfortunately, you're in the audience, so you can't stop me. One of the first things you should do during the build season over the next couple days is set some goals for your team. Now, that kind of sounds like a little vague, but why are goals important? Goals allow you to sort of assess where your team is at, what progress they're making, and whether or not they're on track to finish the robot on time, or any other robot metric. It could be outreach, it could be impact award work. Whatever it is, there should be goals associated with it. Now, there's 2 factors to keep in mind when setting goals. Goals should be achievable. They should be realistic. If you set goals that are too lofty, too far out of the realm of possibility, you'll end up pushing back goals, missing deadlines, rearranging your schedule, and it'll be really difficult to tell if your team is actually on track. It may be that even though your goals aren't being met because they're so high, your team is well above the standard and you're having a really great season. Or it could be that you are a little bit behind, but you can't tell because your goals aren't quite, within the standard that you might need. But that's not to say your goals should be easy. Challenging yourselves is one of the core tenets of First. So remember to set goals that are both achievable, but also push the boundaries of what you're able to do. And keep in mind that every season, your team should be getting better than it was the previous season, so focus on building better robots, doing more outreach, providing a more sustainable environment for your team and your community. Of course, as a cliche, you got to remember to learn, because FRC, like I just mentioned, technical and non-technical skills, learning is what's most important. So rookies, there's a lot of rookies in here, I'm sure, be it rookie teams or rookie members. You might walk into the shop one day and think, wow, this is really overwhelming. I don't really know what's going on. Every FRC member has been like that. They walk in and there's just an overwhelming amount of information. Remember to ask questions, rely on your teammates, and just learn, because that's really what FRC is about. And finally, of course, have an amazing time. FRC is really one of the best things you can do in high school, and I hope everyone enjoys their time as part of an FRC team. Now, we're almost there, but I have one more thing to mention. RoboJackets is comprised of hundreds of very talented engineers, and many of us are FIRST alums. So if you are interested in getting your designs reviewed by us, it can be in person if you're local, or virtual if you're not. Shoot us an email, and we can hop in a call. You can show us some drawings, maybe some CAD, and we will go through your design and talk to you about it, and hopefully help you along with your design and make some improvements. So if that sounds interesting, shoot us an email. But other than that, it's time to get to Charged Up. Who's excited? All right, so we're gonna throw it to the official stream from New Hampshire. Thanks, guys.
All right, all right, all right. I hope you all were able to enjoy our variety of speakers. Again, a lot of this. Sorry, I'm moving the podium. A lot of this doesn't happen, without a lot of the support that our organization and, Georgia First and RoboJackets sort of gets from the community, gets from IRIM, gets from everyone. So once again, we would like to extend a very, very warm and loud thank you to everyone who has helped sort of this happen and who continues to help First Robotics competition happen. So now we are just waiting on the national broadcast. It seems to be a little bit delayed. But as soon as that comes online from First, that will start showing up on the screen, and we should be able to get going with the 2023 season. Is everyone excited? That's what I like to hear. All right, we'll get back to you when the stream is back online. It should be very soon.
from maximizing the performance of devices using 5G to help lower greenhouse gas emissions, creating power-efficient technologies is in Qualcomm's DNA. Qualcomm understands innovative engineering, creative problem solving, and that future leaders and innovators all start with a spark of brilliance. They start with you. Big thanks to Qualcomm for helping to ignite those sparks and for investing in the future. We're proud to partner with them for the first Energize season and super grateful for their continued support over the years.
Today's kickoff is the beginning of the 2023 First Robotics competition season. But before you open your clear cards, let's give an extra big thanks to our kickoff presenting sponsor, Novellus. Here with a special message is Tudor Paratella, a lead engineer for Novellus.
Hello, First Robotics competition community. My name is Tudor Paratella, coming to you from the Novellus Global Research and Technology Center, and we're excited to be part of the Charged Up game reveal today. Novellus is a longtime supporter of First and proudly donates our aluminum in the build kits. What energizes me about my career at Novellus is the opportunity to engineer our infinitely recyclable aluminum to provide sustainable solutions for our customers that connect us, refresh us, and advance the circular economy. As you reimagine the future of energy sustainability and use our aluminum to engineer your robots, you can help us champion the circular economy by recycling your scrap and all those beverage cans fueling your building sessions. Join our alliance and energize your community around recycling as other teams are doing through the creation of can-crushing robots. Every can counts. Recycling just one can saves 95% of the energy required to make a new one. Thank you for championing STEM and sustainability in your community. From all of us at Novellus, good luck and go First!
Wow. Thank you, Novellus. You heard it, every can counts. It's cool to know that we can all conserve energy through the simple act of recycling a can or aluminum scrap from our shop. And well done to the teams leading recycling efforts in their communities already. Now, another sponsor for today's kickoff is the United States Space Force. We're grateful for their continued support and for our recent behind-the-scenes visit to a Space Force base.
This is so cool. Check it out. Space Force is helping support the kickoff this season.
Space Force! Yeah, cool. I love NASA.
It's not NASA, dude. It's the United States Space Force. They do lots of cool stuff.
Like what? Flying through space.
Very funny. Let's see if they'll show us what they do. That'd be really cool. Okay, let me make a call.
Space Launch Delta 30, Major Hutchins here. Who? First Robotics? Why, of course, I can facilitate a tour of Space Launch Delta 30. We're big fans of First and continue to be impressed with your talents and determination and your collaborative spirit, of course. As a matter of fact, we would love to have First alumni on the Space Force team. I know, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me arrange that tour for you and show you what the Space Force is all about. You're more than welcome. See you soon. How did she get my number?
Welcome to the Space Force base at Vandenberg. I'm Lieutenant Latimer. Major Hutchins told me that you guys had some questions about what the Space Force does.
Yeah.
Think of all the things that rely on satellites: texting your friends, playing video games, and checking out the FRC blog. It's our job to make those satellites safe and operational.
How?
It's a team effort. Follow me. For starters, we launch, control, and monitor a lot of different types of satellites.
We also monitor rocket launches around the world.
We're responsible for space surveillance on all satellites and potentially dangerous space debris.
And we even monitor the weather.
Whoa! Basically, we're like your first teams around the world, working together towards a common goal and using many of the same skills as you. Does that make sense?
It does now. Thanks for the tour.
It was my pleasure, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
That was really cool.
Thanks, Space Force.
Okay, that was cool. Thanks, Space Force. And now let's send it to Arwen, who's standing by with someone who's in a new position at FIRST, but who's been a part of FIRST for most of his life. Arwen?
Thanks, Blair. I'm here with Colin Foltz, the new Senior Director of the FIRST Robotics Competition. Welcome, Colin.
Thank you, Arwen, and thank you for being here to help us launch the 2023 FRC season. Are you having fun yet?
Absolutely. Now, Colin, you started off in FIRST as a student on Team 234, is that right?
That's right, Arwen. 22 years ago was my first kickoff for FIRST Robotics Competition team when I joined the Cyber Blue team on the mechanical sub-team.
Now, how has being an alum impacted your life today?
Being an alum means that you are immediately connected to a global community through FIRST. Pretty much anything you want to do in life, there's someone in FIRST that can help you get there. And for me personally, that community strengthened and grew when I started volunteering with FIRST after high school. Not only was volunteering a great way to build skill sets, I was also able to connect with other volunteers from across the world in ways that I just couldn't as a student.
You also mentored a team, so can you talk about how important the mentors were on your team and what your philosophy was as a mentor?
As a student, I was really lucky to be able to work side by side with mentors who showed me everything from how to safely operate a lathe to how to work as part of a team. They inspired me to want to learn more and to be better. I tried to be that same type of mentor because mentors are really what set FIRST apart. It's the mentors that set the culture on their teams. There are a lot of viewpoints about how involved mentors should be in team activities like robot design. My view is that mentors and coaches should focus on making sure that their students are inspired. That is our mission. And there's no one-size-fits-all for what that inspiration should look like, and it's going to vary team by team and often year by year.
Frank Merrick, your predecessor, always made sure that teams remember to put safety first. What's something that you hope teams will remember?
No surprise here, Arwen, it is also safety. I want all participants in FIRST to remember that safety expands to mean more than just being safe with tools or being safe with your robot. It also means creating an environment where all participants feel safe and respected. And to help with that, we have resources for mentors who need a place to start. These conversations can be uncomfortable, but discussing these topics ahead of time, having safety policies in place, and truly fostering a culture of open communication can help prevent situations where a person might feel unsafe. Now, Frank also led the growth of our program for many years by focusing on transparency. I aim to maintain that transparency, and creating a safe space is a large part of how we plan to protect and grow the FIRST community.
Thanks, Colin. You know, FIRST is such a big part of my life, and I'm sure it is for many other students and alums here today. It's great to have an alum in charge, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you, and thank you, Arwen, for being here and helping us kick off. I hope you have a great time and a great season.
Thank you so much.
Canada is ready for FRC 2023.
Le Canada est prêt pour le FRC 2023.
Nederland is klaar voor FRC 2023. Wij zijn Charged Up!
El equipo de Charger 6483 de México está listo para la competencia de robots FRC 2023. We're Charged Up!
México está listo para FRC 2023. We are Charged Up!
Sienten parados.
Is the USA ready for FRC 2023? We
As Colin mentioned, mentors are a critical part of FIRST. They inspire. Our community recognizes mentors with the annual Woody Flowers Award, a huge honor for mentors. Let's hear more about it from the 2022 Woody Flowers Award winner, Christine Sapio, and her team.
Mentors are supportive.
Our mentors are family.
My mentor makes me feel valued and heard.
They make sure everyone on our team has a voice.
My mentors help me make a difference. Our hard work is not for nothing.
My mentors help make my goals and dreams a reality.
FIRST mentors model gracious professionalism so that we, in turn, become role models ourselves.
Because of my FIRST mentors, I was able to reach places I would have never been able to on my own. Nominating my mentor for the Woody Flowers Award meant that I could thank them for changing my life forever.
Because of my FIRST mentors, I've been able to not only impact my life, but those around me.
Hey FIRST teams, this is Christine Sapio coming to you from my classroom at Coconino High School in Flagstaff, Arizona. I'm the non-technical coach of Team 2486, the Coconuts, and I was honored this year with the 2022 Woody Flowers Award at the FIRST Championship. For me, the most rewarding part about being a FIRST mentor is providing opportunities for my students and helping them to become the best version of themselves. Remember, each team can nominate one mentor for the Woody Flowers Finalist Award and a previous finalist for the Championship Woody Flowers Award. We can't wait to read all about all your incredible mentors.
Please honor your mentors by nominating them for the Woody Flowers Award. And we love you, mentors!
Wow, go Christine, you rock. You can clearly see how much it means to honor a mentor by nominating them for the Woody Flowers Award. I hope this inspires lots of us students to nominate our mentors as well.
And by doing so, you also honor the legacy of Woody Flowers, who created the ethos of gracious professionalism. Woody and mentors are a reminder to keep gracious professionalism as part of everything we do at FIRST.
It's now my pleasure to introduce someone who is very new to FIRST a year ago, but who has embraced our enthusiastic FIRST community and who's here to share some reflections on his first year. Please welcome FIRST CEO, Chris Moore.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thanks, Arwen. And happy kickoff to all our teams. Hello, FIRST Robotics competition teams. I am thrilled to be sharing this kickoff day with all of you around the world. The energy is truly electric. I hope the game we're about to share charges you up to build some extraordinary machines. I can't wait to see what you come up with this season. And on a personal note, today marks my second FIRST Robotics competition kickoff, and I am embarking on my second year as CEO of FIRST. Over the past year, I've had the opportunity to meet many, many passionate, kind, hardworking members of the FIRST community, and I've seen just what it takes to deliver the transformative experiences you've all heard about to start this season. I've traveled extensively, attended regional and district events from Texas to Tallahassee, from North Carolina to Michigan, and visited FIRST teams in Europe, and I really got the opportunity to experience firsthand our ethos of cooperation and gracious professionalism up close and personal. I spoke to many students, their parents and mentors, and I've heard amazing stories about how FIRST is helping to change lives and make a difference in their communities. Most importantly, I've witnessed something that I've already known in the abstract, which is that FIRST is more than just robots. Sure, we're giving students a hands-on learning experience and sharpening their skills in math and science and technology, but through FIRST, they are learning much, much more. They are learning how to work together with other students who may look different than they do or come from different geographic or socioeconomic backgrounds. They're learning how to communicate, think critically and creatively, how to run a business, how to market themselves, how to fundraise. I've learned that our community is what makes FIRST so much more than robots. Through the FIRST Mentor Network, which is sponsored by our strategic partner, NI, several hundred experienced FIRST mentors have made themselves available to help teams with everything from fundraising to travel logistics to programming. If your team needs more mentors, be sure to check it out through the FIRST dashboard. By the way, January is National Mentoring Month here in the United States, so let's take a moment to thank all of the remarkable FIRST mentors and coaches out there. I've also had the pleasure of meeting many volunteers who power our events. They work tirelessly to ensure that each and every FIRST event is safe and fun. Last year, our volunteers supported nearly 3,000 official FIRST events around the world. Between volunteering at events and mentoring teams throughout the season, FIRST volunteers, educators, and coaches gave over 21 million hours of their time to you. We're so grateful for their dedication, so thank you, thank you, thank you, FIRST volunteers. I've met all of our program delivery partners, not just here in the US, but many abroad as well, who charge up FIRST at the local level. Because of their tireless efforts to bring FIRST to their region, young people from many corners of the globe are able to discover a love of learning, hone their creativity, find belonging, and power up to their full potential. We're also grateful for the electrifying generosity of our sponsors and donors. Through in-kind donations and financial contributions, sponsors and donors enable our participants to have the tools they need to succeed and build their futures. In closing, let me say it again. The people who represent the heart of our community, that would be you. Our FIRST participants and our alumni, thank you. Because of this support network, you are empowered to build a better world. You become gracious professionals who innovate, compete, and collaborate with equal energy and share a common passion for using science and technology as a force for good. To all of our students and teams, thank you, thank you, thank you for inspiring me every day to continue nurturing and growing this community. So have fun today and best of luck this season. Thank you.
Česká republika je připravena na FRC 2023.
We are charged up! México, estamos listos para el FRC 2023. Charge up!
日本も FRC2023 が待ちきれない。私たちもチャージアップ
FRC 2023台湾准备好了 We are charged up!
Australia is ready for FRC 2023.
We are charged up!
These teams are going to run out of places to store all that energy. If you want your team to be featured at an event, we're collecting short videos from teams to play at competitions throughout the season. Think short, fun, TikTok-style videos that show the personality of your team. Have fun with it and be creative. Go to the FIRST website or watch the social channels for more info. Okay, we're getting close to the revealing of this season's game. But before we do that, let's check in with Blair and his special guest.
Arwen, it is my pleasure to introduce someone whose vision for a better future created FIRST. Someone who believes that everyone deserves access to FIRST and that all FIRST team members are the culture changers our world needs. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome FIRST founder, Dean Kamen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome. So it's kickoff weekend. You excited? This is like one of your favorite times of the year?
It sort of happens every year, yeah.
It sort of happens nice when it's with people in the house too, isn't it? Well, 5 years ago, before we get to the present team, 5 years ago, we made a video for that kickoff, and we want to see if the message still holds up. So let's roll that video right now, would we?
Very soon, you're going to be let in on this year's game, and it's another good one. Trust me. Now we want you to be successful. The world needs more capable, smart, young innovators. FIRST team members have been 2 steps ahead for many years now, taking a hands-on, real-world experience that we give them out into the workplace. They're innovating in the world of technology, design, manufacturing, and making an impact. I know because I see them, I meet with them, I work with them, and best of all, I hire them. My best ideas come when I'm enthusiastic, when I'm optimistic, when I'm talking to the FIRST community. Then you gotta go back to the shop and turn those ideas into reality. It's tough, it's frustrating, but somebody's gotta do it. It's probably you. Now look, I understand the big problems are gonna be really hard to solve. And I understand you'll probably fail along the way. In fact, many times. I've failed at more things more times than most people I know. It doesn't matter how many times you fail, especially when you're trying to do something that nobody's ever done, and it's difficult and it's important. What matters is that each time you fail, you learn from it, you pick yourself back up, and you try again. And if you fall down 7 times but stand up 8, you're a winner. And I hope you're seeing that in your FIRST experience.
So what do you think, Dean? Does that message still hold up?
I'm a very boring guy. I've been saying the same thing for 30 years. Look, people, school is a wonderful place to get the tools, to learn from the couple of 1,000 years of hey, we call it Archimedes' principle. We can learn from that. It's part of our logo. He died 2,000 years ago. There's an enormous amount of knowledge that you can get in a school, tools you can get. But tools don't succeed or fail. They're just tools. What FIRST does is allow you to use those tools to create the next generation of knowledge and innovate. But to go forward where the answers aren't already in the back of the book, you have to do something you don't typically do in school. You have to do things that haven't been done. You're going to not get to the right solution the first time. School teaches you sort of how to not fail by learning from everything we've already known. FIRST teaches you how to deal with the failures that are inevitable as we move forward, as we raise the bar, as we move the world to a better place. So I've been saying it for 30 years. It's okay. In fact, it's part of what FIRST is, to teach you how to deal with failure, learn from failure, learn how to use it to make yourself stronger, to make your team stronger, to learn how to cooperate, communicate, collaborate, and move us to a place that most people in the generation before you couldn't have even imagined.
So not only is the message important in that video, but it's one of our favorite videos because it's one of the most comfortable places I've ever seen you. When you're in your machine shop, you're in a great headspace. And this year, our season sponsor, our game sponsor for Charged Up, is Haas. And you're very familiar with Haas, aren't you?
So I got machines in my house, but if anybody wants to go down to my mill yard, you'll see an entire floor full of Haas machines. We use them to turn ideas into reality. Haas makes some fantastic equipment. We use it every day in our shop. I'm sure a lot of you have used it or will soon be using it. But Gene Haas Foundation and the Haas Company have become enormous supporters of FIRST. They're helping us enable more kids to get more access to advanced technology, CNC machines, and all sorts of cool stuff, to make all sorts of cool stuff. So thank you, Haas.
Thank you, Haas. And the Gene Haas Foundation is sponsoring this season's challenge. Now, you know, students in life have a lot of choices. What makes the choice to join a FIRST team different? Like, if you're selling FIRST, why? Why would a student get on a FIRST team?
The only reason I think a kid would want to be on a FIRST team is because it gives them the opportunity to create a successful future for themselves. And
just that little thing.
I would say FIRST, as it's hard. Come on, people. It's really hard. It's high pressure. It's a short time. We don't give you enough equipment. We don't give you enough anything. We give you complex problems. And then you got to build it, you got to ship it, and it's got to work the first time when it's on that field in front of everybody. That's pressure. But that's real life. FIRST is a microcosm of what you can do with your life if you learn all the skill sets, as we've been saying again for 30 years. we're not using kids to build robots. We're using robots to build kids. And we're giving the communities access to connecting parents, teachers, mentors, sponsors, kids, technology, in a way that most of the kids, even after one season we've seen, have a transformed perspective about what's possible. And I don't think there's any other sport that is exciting, or I don't think there's any other activity that kids can do kind of as an aspirational after-school activity that can give them in such a short time so many opportunities to see what the possibilities in life are if they develop that one muscle hanging between their ears in which humans are in the unlimited category for sport.
So from the beginning, was the collaborative spirit and the cooperation piece, was that always like part of the design?
In the early days when we started using the word cooperation, I actually asked Maureen to go trademark it for us. Nobody had ever done it. When I came up with a scoring system by which the winning team gets a multiple of the score of the team that they're competing with, we were able to get a patent on that process. And the interesting thing is you can only get a patent on something after you prove to the United States Patent Office it's novel and has never been done. In the entire history of sports, thousands of years of sports, nobody's ever created a game where you can incentivize the teams to each do better by helping the other one while they're still competing to be the best. So yes, I think the principle that we're here to show kids, and as Senator Hassan said, it's not a zero-sum game. You know, without competition, most of the world is a zero-sum game. You've got oil, I need oil. You've got water, I need water. You've got land. For thousands of years, history is about fighting over the limited resources of land or oil or water or gold. Now think about technology. It's not only not a zero-sum game, but supposing you have a great idea. You know how to cure cancer. I got a great idea. I know how to make an engine that doesn't pollute. Well, if you had gold and I had money and we had a transaction, before the transaction you have gold, I have money. After the transaction, I have gold, you have money. Nothing changed, but there's more people fighting over less and less gold money. The world's diminishing. But you say to me, I got my great idea. I know how to cure cancer. I'll share it with you. You know how to make a better engine that won't pollute the environment? You share it with me. Before that transaction, there was one good idea in you and one good idea in me. After that transaction, we both have two great ideas to share. The world will be an unlimited source of creating value and wealth and problem solving when people learn how to use technology, because it's not only not a zero-sum game. Imagine a world with 8 billion people on it, all of whom are capable of solving problems and sharing the solutions. Then instead of racing each other to the bottom as we run out of natural resources, the world will explode in innovation and positive. I mean, all you have to do is think about now two outcomes for the world. Fewer and fewer people getting capable of using advanced technologies, spreading that gap between the haves and the have-nots until the world goes unstable. Or a world where we're bringing everybody along, everybody is able to see a better future for themselves, sharing opportunities with each other, and having a world where everybody has more opportunity to succeed. Technology is the only way to make that happen. As a former leader of a country and a visionary, a global statesman, Shimon Peres, told me after a few years of running Ferst in Israel, he said, Dean, I've been in politics for more than 80 years. I've watched 4 generations of kids grow up in the Middle East. They each learn from their parents and their grandparents how to fight with each other. And nobody wins wars. I've seen what Ferst does. And these kids from all over the Middle East are now communicating and cooperating. And he looked me right in the eye and he said, you know what, Dean? Politics divides the world. Technology will unite it. We have to put Ferst in every school in the Middle East. And at the age of slightly over 90, he started that process, and we're going to finish it.
All right, great. Nicely said. So, Dean, you talked about cooperation, you talked about the future, you talked about imagination and creativity. Well, we've got all that bundled up in this year's game. And I think our audience has been waiting long enough, been very patient. Are you ready to unveil the game?
I am absolutely ready to unveil this game.
All right, if you're done, let's get them going. Why don't you count it down? See if they're ready to count down, and we'll play the game animation.
Are you all ready? 3, 2, 1, charged up!
Welcome to the 2023 First Robotics Competition game, Charged Up, presented by Haas. 2 alliances of 3 teams each compete to score cubes and cones into their grid to charge up their community. The alliances earn additional points if their robots are docked to or engaged with their charge station. Robots start each match in their community and may be preloaded with either 1 cube or 1 cone. Each alliance may choose where to stage 4 additional game pieces. During the first 15 seconds of the match, robots are autonomous. Without guidance from their drivers, robots score preloaded game pieces, collect and score additional game pieces, and are docked to or engaged with their charge station. Charge station points earned during auto count towards a potential activation bonus. The grid has nodes specific to cones and cubes, and some where either a cone or cube can be scored. During the remaining 2 minutes and 15 seconds, drivers control their robots. Robots continue to collect cubes and cones from human players at their substations to deliver power to the grids in their community. Each community contains 3 grids. The center grid is the cooperation grid. A link is a line of 3 game pieces scored on the same row. Completing enough links earns the alliance a sustainability bonus. If each alliance scores at least 3 game pieces in the cooperation grid, the sustainability bonus threshold is lowered for both alliances. Robots are protected within their community and loading zones. As time runs out, robots race to their charge stations. Alliances earn points for each robot docked to or engaged with the charge station. Earning enough charge station points earns the alliance the activation bonus. The alliance that earns the most points wins the match.
Wow. All right, that is Charged Up, presented by Haas, and we are on the actual playing field, and it is big. There is so much open space on this playing field. I can't wait to see this year's game.
And so many cool field elements as well. I'm so excited.
Well, to start us off on the playing field, as our audience migrates down to see this, we're going to toss it over to Colin once again on the field near the grids.
Thank you, Blair, and welcome everyone to Charged Up, presented by Haas. I want to start off by acknowledging some of our generous sponsors. First up, Haas, our FRC game sponsor this year. They have been an amazing partner as we've developed the game and are a great partner to teams and our partners in our community, so thank you, Haas. I want to thank our Kickoff presenting sponsor, Novellus, and Kickoff sponsor, U.S. Space Force, for all of their help putting on this amazing show for our community. I also want to give a shout out to NI and Rockwell Automation, longtime sponsors and suppliers to First. Their technology is critical to making the robots work and to making the field work every year. Thank you, NI and Rockwell Automation, for your support. And last, I want to give a shout out to our external reviewers of the game this year. So many people put effort into making sure that this game can be as good as it is when we send it out in front of our entire community. So thanks you to our external review team, our external chief volunteers who have given us feedback on how to make this game better. Thank you for the time that you put in. Now, we know that this is the one field that's set up in the world right now, which means that a lot of teams won't see an actual field until they get to their first competition. So, to help mitigate that, we have put so many resources on our playing field webpage. We've got drawings, we've got CAD files, we've got field tour videos that show you the size and scale of things and how different things interact, and we've got high-res photos from different points on the field so you can see what it'll look like to be in different driver stations, to be in different player stations, all to help you be prepared for when you get to your first event. You can get an idea for sight lines, for scale of objects, and all kinds of other details by checking out the playing field page. Next up, a reminder that First Choice Round 2 priority wait lists are open now. You can go on today and set that wish list for First Choice Round 2. Now, we know that a lot of teams will get to a point technically when they're building their robot where they just don't know what step to take next and they're going to need help. In addition to the Mentor Network, we have created some resources and compiled some of the best resources from our community on a technical resources page, so you can get help with everything from pneumatics to creating bumpers. If you need an idea of where to start with the brainstorming process, the technical resources page is a great place to start for your team, and I hope you check it out. Now, we talked earlier about safety, and I'm going to highlight safety again. There are a couple of things on this field that we want people to watch out for. First up is the charge station right here in front of me. It is big, it moves, it's loud, and robots are going to be driving onto it, hopefully, and then you have to get your robot off of it at the end of the match. So please be careful when you're loading robots off of the charge station and walking around it in between the matches. Next up, we've got this barrier that separates the community from the loading zone. Be careful as you're coming in through the gates. Watch out for that barrier as you're bringing your robot onto and off of the field. We've got 3,000 veteran teams this year, more than 3,000 veteran teams, and 267 rookie teams in FIRST Robotics competition this year. Good luck to all of you, and we will see you at the competitions. Arwen, back to you.
Thanks, Colin. Teams, we know you may have some questions about the field, so be sure to post them in the Twitch chat, and we'll answer them after we tour the field.
But all of the dimensions, the rules, they're all in the game manual. We will unlock that in a few minutes, but first let's just check out some elements on the field with some of our game design team members. So I'm going to start with the charge station with Matt Pilot here from the game design team. Matt, happy kickoff.
Good to see you.
Kickoff. Okay. The charge station. This baby's big. This baby's heavy.
Yeah, it is big.
And it moves. Why don't you walk us through it a little bit?
All right, so the charge station is, it's 8 feet long, 4 feet wide. It has these ramps, lead-in ramps on both sides. As Colin just showed, it tips both ways towards the community and out towards the center of the field. It has lights integrated in it that show when it's level and when it's not level. And check out the manual, and it'll tell you exactly what level means there. That's really important. But I guess the other important thing to know about the charge station is that, so these ramps are set up in a pretty nice way where it'll make it relatively easy, I think, for a robot to drive on. Should we kind of show them how that works?
Maybe a little later, but relatively easy? Relatively
Well,
easy?
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, that looks good to me. A lot tougher from that side. All right. We'll talk about the charge station. Put your questions in the chat. Now we're going to send it over to Arwen with Fiona at the substation.
Thanks, Blair. I'm here with Fiona right now at the substation. Fiona, can you talk a little bit about the substations and how they work?
Absolutely. So happy kickoff, everyone. So we actually have two substations, and these are going to be used by your human players to get the game pieces onto the field. So first we'll start with the double substation here. I've got a nice demo here, so there's two ways to use it. First, you put a game piece on the shelf, and then you bring your shelf out, and then your robot can grab one of the game pieces and bring it onto your grid. The other way is you can actually just drop it in, and then your robot can pick it up off the ground. So two different ways to use the double substation. Then we'll move on over to our single substation. So very similar concept, but a little bit different. So the way that you can do that, go ahead and do that, Nate. You just drop it in, and it goes onto the field. Very easy, and you can do this with either of the game pieces. So use both ways. And with that, I think that's kind of the basic instruction on how the substations work.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Fiona.
Absolutely.
Now we're going to head back to Blair and Matt at the grid.
All right, we are here at the grid. Thank you, Arwen and Fiona. The grid takes up 2/3 of the ends of the field. Walk us through the grid. What are all these pieces, and how do you score?
All right, so the grid is the main scoring structure on the field. And the grid has, we'll start off, there's 3 different levels of the grid. There's the top row, the middle row, and the bottom row. The bottom row is the level right at the carpet level. And then there are pegs, or each location where you can score, we call that a node. And the pegs are for scoring cones. The shelves are for scoring the cubes. And the nodes on the floor, those are hybrid nodes, and you can score a cone or a cube in a hybrid node.
All right, got it.
The other thing that's fun about all the grids is that there's a bunch of different vision targets. So we're using retroreflective tape, as we have for a long time on the pegs. But we also added the April tags, which is new for this year, which is another kind of cool way to detect where you are on the field and relative to the grid.
All right, great. We are going to answer your questions in the chat in just a minute, but first, I think they've been patient enough. I think it's time to reveal the code.
Yep. We will continue to answer your questions and take a closer look later on, but here is the code.
Open that game manual. All the rules and dimensions are all in there. We'll get your questions from the Twitch chat and be back here in just about 15 seconds. If you want to watch him drive. Okay. All right. The game manual is unlocked. Now we start answering questions. So earlier you mentioned it was fairly easy to drive a robot onto the charge station.
Yeah.
So I think we should demo that. So
yeah,
how about we start with that?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay. So we've got a kitbot out here on the field. And we've got Jay, who's behind the glass there, behind the driver's station. Let's get off the field, just in case. All right, Jay, let's take that kitbot up onto the charge station. Yo, nicely done.
Jay.
Give the man a prize. Okay, that's one of our kitbots in-house and the controls, so we had one of our engineers do it. Now we're going to have a student do it. This is Nora from team 8708. Let's just, yeah. Let's give her a whirl. Nora nails it. Super well done. Nice job, Nora, showing Jay up. That was good. All right, let's, down there, I think we've got a question over there for Fiona.
Thanks, Blair. I'm here with Fiona again. Fiona, can you tell me how we know the cubes are in spec?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So as you can see, these cubes are kind of inflatable, and so you can definitely put them too much air or too little air into it. So we actually created this cube measuring jig that will be sent with all the fields to ensure that the cubes are in spec. So it's super easy to use. We even have a video that's going to be posted online shortly of how this works. But a quick demo here, all you do is you put the cube on a level surface, the ground, and then you can put this on top. And as long as both sides are not touching the ground and both edges of the cube are not touching this, the cube is in spec. And they can check it all three ways, and so that's a really easy way to do it, and we'll be using that at the event. So if you aren't sure if your cube is in spec, you can ask the field staff. We also have a drawing of this available online, so you can actually go and make your own.
So make sure to check out all those resources, and now it's back to you, Blair, with another question.
All right, our question is from Jedi4 Westhaken. Can the cones be placed in any orientation on the nodes?
No, they can't. So you gotta, in order to score the cone, so it can either be, on the floor in the hybrid node, but if it's on a peg, it's gotta be like resting on the peg, right? Whether it's fully down or definitely, on top of the peg. But like, if you got a robot it's really impressive, that's not gonna count. And it's going to fall off real easily.
All right.
All right, our next question is from Aaron95. Is there a specific pattern on the grid?
So sort of. As you can see, there's these poles here and the shelves. The poles and the shelves are what the game pieces are going to go on. So for instance, these shelves are for the cubes, and the cones go on the poles, and so we call them the nodes. We've got the cone nodes, the cube nodes, and then on the ground here is what we call our hybrid nodes. So hybrid nodes, either a cone or a cube can go in there, and that will count as scored. And when you're scoring, if you make the links, you get more points. So be sure to check out the manual for all those details. Back to you, Blair.
All right, one question is, how much cargo can a robot carry? How many cones? How many?
You can only carry one cone or one game piece. So one cone at a time or one cube at a time. That's it.
Okay, that's good. But let's go over here to the co-op partition grid. Let's talk about what makes this center section different.
So the co-op partition, this center section of the grid, the co-op grid, this 3x3 section in the middle, is special in that if you score 3 game pieces on the grid, so I've got 3 game pieces here, and the opposing alliance also scores 3 game pieces, at least 3 game pieces in the grid, then you lower the threshold for the stability bonus, and gets you a little bit close. Like the threshold is a lot easier to get to for the ranking point, which is nice. So working together benefits both teams.
And any orientation, they don't have to be in a row.
Nope. On the co-op grid, as long as there's 3 in there, that's all you need.
So what about creating a link? I don't think we talked about that
So links,
yet.
that's a little different. So with a link, you get a link is 3 game pieces that are scored horizontally adjacent, and they can be anywhere in the grid, but they have to be horizontal. So that's one link right here. Move this game piece over here. That's also a link. And if you score 5 links, then you can get the stability bonus.
So is this a link?
Or the sustainability bonus.
Is that a link?
That's also a link, Blair.
Okay. All right. Arwen and Fiona, back to you.
All right, our next question is from Bug Anarchy, who is wondering, can you score multiple cones onto?
So that's a great question. You could theoretically score 2 on top of 1, but only 1 is going to count. So we don't recommend doing that, but if 1 accidentally lands there, you're going to still get the points for just the 1.
Perfect. And now back to you, Blair.
We've got a question from Fruiton Fire YT. What happens if you score a cube on a cone shelf? A cone on a cube shelf.
No credit.
No credit.
No, there's no score for that. So when on the pegs and the shelf, you have to. Those are designated spots for cones and cubes. The only place where you can get where you can score both game pieces and earn points is in the hybrid nodes, which are right on the floor.
All right. And while we're here, you can notice the struts that stick out are fairly narrow. You're not going to fit a robot in there, are you?
Well, I guess you could make your robot really narrow and scoot it in there if you wanted, right?
And they're a little bit wider on the outside grids.
They are a little wider on the outside, yeah. So they're not all the same. They're not all the same width. That's right.
Got it. Okay, Arwen and Fiona.
Perfect. So Fiona, our next question is from ALN, and they're wondering, will the able tags change between competitions or between events?
No, that's another good question. So these April tags here are unique to the position on the field. So you can see here, this one says ID 3. This will always be ID 3. And they actually go around the field. So we've got 1 through 8. There's 8 different locations, and teams can use that code to know exactly where they are on the field to help them with the game.
Perfect. Back to you, Blair.
All right. The yearly question, the annual question, can you de-score? Can you take pieces out of your opponents after they've been scored?
Off of your opponents?
Yes. Can a red alliance come down here and de-score a cone?
That is definitely against rules.
That is definitely against the rules.
Yeah, stay away from that.
Yeah, stay away from that. That's not going to help you. Okay, Arwen and Fiona.
Our next question from an audience is from here. Our question is, how many points is the difference between scoring a cone and a cube?
Another great question. Our community is filled with all these good questions. So it doesn't matter which object you're scoring, it matters what level you score it on. So for instance, if you score it on the ground, it's going to be the least amount of points. When you move up, a little bit more, and when you move up to the top, a little bit more. So we do it by level rather than by game object. So cones and cubes are the same amount of points.
Perfect. And make sure to check out the game manual for more information about cones and cubes.
Absolutely.
Back to you, Blair.
Yes. Read the manual, read the manual, read the manual.
For sure.
Next question is about the orientation of the game pieces being entered in the field. Can they enter in any orientation? Do you want to just...
Yeah, so if you're entering in a game piece from the double substation here, there's no requirement that that you have to place the cone or the cube in any specific orientation. You can lay it on its side, or if you want to balance it on the tip of the cone, that's fine. There's no requirements, whether here or if you're using the single substation and sliding it down the ramp.
Can you just show that cone going down and hitting the ramp?
Yeah. Slide this out of the way.
That's another way the game pieces can be entered as well. All right, back to you, Arwen and Fiona.
Our next question is about the bridge. So people are wondering, how hard is it to get on the bridge, and what happens if something gets stuck under the bridge?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We did do that demo earlier, so I encourage, if you missed that segment, to go back and re-watch it, where we had both an FRC staff member drive a robot onto the charge station, as well as a random team member drive it for the first time. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to get on. You just have to press a little bit of pressure on it, and then you can push it down. So it is designed such that the kit of parts drivetrain can go on it. Now for the second part of your question about what happens if a game piece gets lodged under there, we did design it in such that it shouldn't be affected. So what I'll do is I'll take one of our cones and I'm gonna jam it under here to kind of show what might happen. It might be underneath. Still doesn't matter though, the bridge will operate in the same way as long as you put enough pressure on that spot. And so that should work for both game pieces.
Perfect. Back to you, Blair.
All right, once again, read the manual, read the manual, read the manual. We've got a lower third up now. The Q&A is now on the screen, so make sure you follow that link as well. Our next question is about if you have 4 game pieces in a row, that's a link, or is that 2 links, or do you need 6 pieces to make 2 links?
You need 6 pieces to make 2 links. We're not trying to double count game pieces to make up links. When you get 3, that's 1 link, and now you got to get to 6.
You need a separate 3 for the next. Okay, good question. Arwen.
We have another question from our Twitch chat, and someone is wondering, if a team puts a cube or cone on the grid, can another team take that piece and move it to a higher level?
So that's a good question. What will happen is if, for instance, this cube is on this shelf, we're going to score it as that. So during the match, it'll go that. If one of your alliance partners then decides to take this off, the points for that goes away, and then your points will get on the top. So be sure to look at the manual for all those specific details on how scoring works. Perfect. Back to you, Blair.
All right, good question here from Loser Statistics. Can you throw the cones or the cubes to score?
So if you are in the community, that is permitted. You can. I don't remember the exact language in the manual, but read the manual, and it is permitted though. If you want, you don't have to just place the game piece.
You can launch from inside the community.
As long as you're in this community.
Which is the blue line on the floor at the other side. Yep. No, it's can't do it. We got an arc.
Right.
All right.
Very accurate. Good job.
Arwen.
Now our next question is from Austin98, who is wondering, do robots fully have to be on the charging station?
Sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Do robots have to fully be on the charging station?
Sure, so that's a good question. So there's actually specific language in the manual about how the charge station scoring works. For instance, if you are on it like this, the charge station is not level, so you're not going to get the maximum amount of points. However, if you go all the way and you see the lights turn on, that indicates that the charge station is level and you're going to get more points.
Back to you, Blair.
So Matt, will 3 robots fit on the charge station?
Well, it's 4 feet wide, or 4 by 8, right? So it's a pretty big, or 4 feet by 8 feet. It's a pretty big surface. So the math says that you should be able to get 3 on there.
And let's just revisit how squishy are these cubes? Can you just give us a little squish test, a little squeeze?
There. I mean, so this is, Fiona showed that the measurement device earlier. So this one's been inflated with that, and it does squish a bit.
Yeah. All right, back over to you, Arwen and Fiona.
Our next question is from Ethan Hardy, who wants to know, can you take multiple game pieces at one time onto the field, and can you put them in the same place, same node?
Yeah, so pay attention to how many game pieces each team can hold, which is 1. And so you're going to have to go to your substation, grab the game piece, and then drive across the field with it, and then score it. And so we recommend scoring it where you're trying to go, but you could, as a strategy, take the game pieces to one side and allow an alliance partner to be the one who actually places them. It's up to you and your team to figure out what's going to work best for your team, as well as your alliance.
So all teams have to go all the way to the other side to get game pieces from their human players, or they can get them from the center? From
the center, or each robot is allowed to start with a game piece at the beginning of the match as well.
Perfect. Back to you, Blair.
All right, let's talk about robots in the community. So I'm the Blue Alliance, and I'm trying to score here. Can Red Alliance robots enter the community?
So if I'm a Red Alliance robot and you're a Blue Alliance robot.
All right, folks. Thank you all so much for showing up. Are you guys excited? Hell yeah, awesome. So just a couple of items just to go over. We will be doing distribution of kit of parts in the, kit of parts, oh my goodness, in the first loading dock. So send a adult 18 plus with their photo identification that's affiliated with your team to pick up your kit of parts. I gotta stop saying please. And yeah, you should have a couple of folks to help you carry items, especially if you are getting the totes. What was there something else? All right, thanks for coming and have a great day.